Am I allowed to turn TV on?
Yeah, I think I've got my headset on mute.
Should I try to lead the meeting from home?
Okay, we're unmuted now. No, I don't think so, Becky. I think I'm gonna lead the meeting.
Great.
That might be easier. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is the regular state planning and project meeting for Thursday, January 26th, 2023. We're starting at, if that's right, we're starting at 6:01 p.m. And call to order, we're gonna do the pledge to the flag. Ready, begin.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
And
of
to
the
the
United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Roll call of directors. Director Garcia, absent. Director Nyman, absent. Director Gibson
Here,
and Director Kelling.
Here.
And I'm Director Schoenberg, and I'll be chairing the meeting. Okay, we do have a quorum. Discussion, vote, adjust agenda if necessary. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda that we know about? I think as far as an adjustment, well, we still need to have the closed session, but just briefly, because we don't have the other member of the project committee here. That's a negotiator, but I guess we should go on very briefly and then come back in. So just because some other stuff has transpired, so. Okay, so as far as I know, you don't have any adjustments, Director Kelling or?
No.
Or Director Gibson?
no, I don't see anything.
Okay. Then I'll move on to item number 3, public comments. Are there any public comments, items not listed on this agenda? And moving on, hearing none, moving on to item 4, ad hoc committee reports, project committee. So I will give a brief summary of what we did. We have we were at the state meeting. There's really nothing new. We do have the agenda in here to be approved. So you can look at that in your packet.
The agenda of those meetings.
I mean, the minutes, not the agenda, you're right. I'm a little tired. So the only we had Jesse Dollywall asking some questions about the well. So that's the biggest
7.
thing that came up, well 7, which is not doing well at all and probably is almost just barely useful. And so Jesse was asking if we're going to be able to also use well 5, and there were some questions about that. We're still talking about that as a board as well. And we did discuss some more about well 8 and well 9, and we'll be talking about that in the closed session in terms of property negotiation. And then we also talked about the MSR, and Lake of the Woods did give some input to D as far as adding some connections. I'm not sure Dee will address that, I think, under the agenda item. And that's really, everything else was kind of old business, other than we were asked to provide some more documentation for well 8, and I believe Dee did that. So we'll again, all that falls under the agenda items. Accounts payable committee.
I came in, Director Nyman has been ill, and I came in, looked through the bills. The few that were, and asked Deborah to cut the checks, and we've looked at them in the meeting, and we'll take care of that in the agenda item.
Okay, and then financial committee, I did come in, I conferred with Director Gibson by phone. We did talk a little bit to our auditor again in regard to information that needs to go out to the state controller by the end of this month. And we're looking that over. We can bring that up in financials. But basically, Deborah and I had a phone call with him and to just try to figure out some of the numbers because they didn't match our year-end numbers. This is for 2021, 2020. And but it's a preliminary report, it's not a final auditor. So but I will be asking for we don't have to do a motion, but I'll be asking the other directors present if you're okay if we send that in. If we have your blessing on the financial committee to do any other adjustments that we need to do and send that in. Probably won't be adjusting, we're just trying to figure out how the auditor came up with the numbers, and he did send us.
FYI, if you go on your phone tonight, it will mess me up.
Okay, we won't go on our phone.
Oops, sorry, I thought I was on mute.
Oh, no. I was confused. Okay, so that'll come up under financial. The financials, so I think that we're good. We just I'll be bringing that up as an agenda item also. So financial business, discussion vote on accounts payable and financial information. I need to get rid of the scum. I forgot about that before the meeting started. That's you, Deborah.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Good evening.
Okay. We cut 11 checks from the revenue operating account for a total of $11,627.02. And the one extraordinary disbursement was to Kern Brothers Trucking, paying 2 invoices totaling $3,117.50.
And then Deborah, just FYI, so we cut a check for Unified, which should have been cut off of the well and meter checking account, and it was cut off our operating revenue, which is fine. It's only for $18. But we need to make sure when that money comes in, and that's why I'm saying it verbally here, so that it's in our minutes, that money needs to go back in operating revenue. So
Okay.
because we did not cut it from our normal account that we normally would have cut it from. And that was because there was a transposal of numbers and we just missed $18. It was not cut on the original check, which was $116,964. So that's the only thing that I saw, and something to be reclassed, which we will worry about later. And I'm gonna need to come by your residence, Director Gibson, and have you sign a check for Kern Brothers Trucking, because we don't have 3 directors here to sign. So
Okay.
and then we're able to do the vote for the or just a conscience of the board for under this, or we were going to put it somewhere else for the putting stuff into the state controller's office.
Oh,
You can do it under this, just do a,
He said we don't need a motion.
yeah, vote of
Okay, so I just need a vote of confidence,
Now, is that gonna work with you and
because it's
and
not a
Becky being
motion.
on the committee? And there's
Oh.
just me, and there's just me?
It has to go out by the.
It has to go out by the 31st. We don't have a choice. So let me just quickly again reiterate what that is. It's doesn't have to be perfect. It's an estimate. It was done by our auditor. It's not done by the financial ad hoc. It's in the past, I don't even know. I think he's just sent it in, but we're a lot more sticklers for what's going on now. So I think we asked to see it. And it's again the year 21-22. It looks, as far as I can tell, pretty accurate. There are a few numbers that are gonna get changed. And that, I don't know, Deborah may want to speak to that as well, because she put an eye on it after I left. I was here for a couple of hours looking at it. And then your committee came in, and so we couldn't cross paths. So she, I think, looked at it a little bit more. But he, like I said, he did send us his worksheets. I did everything on my calculator, and I saw maybe one or two things that were a little off, but it wasn't like a huge amount of money. And so, and he will be changing some items because he took everything from our reports, but there were some items that I think he still needs to calculate that will change anyway. So what he does is he submits that, and then on the following audit, I believe what he does is he starts the numbers for the following year with his corrections. Is that correct, Deborah?
That sounds correct, and it is a very cursory audit. So there's not a lot of detail in the profit and loss. Basically, what he does is he groups all of the expenses that are related to water, and then he separates out any expenses that are not related to water business. So it's very, very cursory, and this is just a preliminary that goes to the state before he actually does the audit.
So I think if we're all in agreement, I did run things by Director Gibson already. And I guess as long as you're in agreement, I think we're fine. And basically all he wants is an email. He does not want a motion. He just needs an email from me saying, yes, we're good on you sending that in.
I guess so.
So Director Gibson, I know you haven't really seen it either. You just talked to us on the telephone.
Yeah.
So you're okay with it?
Yep. I'm okay.
Yeah, I haven't seeing it either, so.
Okay, so well, we have it here. So the other thing is we don't need to send it in until Monday. So if you wanted to come by, I think, and look at it, or Monday or Tuesday, we need to send it in before the 31st, which is what, Tuesday? So yeah, so what are you're here on Monday, Deborah?
I will be there on Monday, yes.
So maybe can you just make it available like first thing? Are you around in the morning if you want to take a look at it? Like at 9 a.m. for the other directors to look at it. Anyone else who wants to look at it and see if they see any issues, and then you can let me know and I can send it in.
Okay,
Or I
I'll
can
have it
send
ready
an
by
email.
9.
Okay, and then did you find any additional issues when you looked at it after I left?
No, because they're, like I said, it's very cursory. There is not a lot of detail. And I was able to find the numbers that we were having difficulty with. So all of his numbers are based on our report.
Yeah, so it looked like stuff didn't match when we first looked at it, but then he just has a auditor's way of putting things together that we didn't understand. And so once we got his worksheets, we were able to see where his numbers came from, and they all looked like they matched. There was just one item that he didn't have one of the numbers in there, and I don't know if that, if that's a mistake or he had it somewhere else, a little piece of it was cut off that we couldn't see.
Yeah,
Uh,
it showed, I found it.
Oh, you found it, okay,
I
great.
found it.
So I'm okay with sending it in, and like I said, if you wanna come in early and just take a look at it, so you know what we're doing, and then you can let me know by text. If I can't send him an email, and then I'll send him an email, Monday afternoon.
Okay.
If that's okay with everybody, so same thing with you, Deb, not Deborah, Becky, if you wanna come in.
Yeah.
Director Gibson. Okay.
Sure, if I could leave my porch.
Yeah, so if not, then I think it's okay, like Deborah said, it's
Mhm.
Thursday and it's gonna change, it's going to change anyway. I always say I
Okay.
don't, gonna, and I just said it like 4 times, so,
Okay, then I'll make a motion that we pay our bills.
okay. Do I
I'll
have a
second that.
Okay, are there any other questions before I do roll call directors? Okay, Director Garcia is absent, Director Nyman is absent, Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelling.
Aye.
And I'm Director Schoenberg, and I'm an I, so that is 3-0-0 to absent. And that motion passes. Okay, do we have anything else, Deborah?
I don't think so. I
Well,
wrote
then
down the note on the $18, so.
Okay,
You have a good night.
Okay, thank you. You all have a good evening.
thank you very much.
Night, Deborah.
Good night.
Okay, so at this point, for everyone else on the meeting, we're going to briefly go into a closed session with D. Jasper. Director Nyman is not here, but there are other directors here, just to catch people up on our negotiations with the property for both well 8 and well 9. And so with that, I'm going to make an oral announcement. Oh, and so it shouldn't be real long, folks, so we should hopefully, I would think maximum half an hour if that. Hopefully less than that. So just stay close by, and Tiffany is going to do the things that she does by putting us in a room and leaving everybody else out, and then checking, I believe, with all of you to see if things are going well. So oral announcement prior to closed session, Government Code 54957.7A, a representative of the legislative body to orally announce the items to be discussed in closed session prior to any closed session meeting. We actually have 2 items, items 6 and 7, which will both be in the closed session. So item 6 is closed session pursuant to Government Code 54957, conference with real property negotiators, Government Code 54956.8. Property is 255-320-28. That's the parcel. Agency negotiators, myself, Director Nyman will not be there, and D. Jasper. Negotiating parties are Veronica Alcaraz and Carlos Sacedo. And under negotiation of the price in terms of payments on the property. And then also item number 7, closed session pursuant to Government Code 54957. Conference with real property negotiators, Government Code 54956.8. Property parcel numbers 256-070-54 and 256-070-55. Agency negotiators, myself, Lisa Schoenberg, Director Nyman, who is not here, and G. Jasper. Negotiating parties Jeff French and Emily Wainwright. Under negotiation, again, price in terms of payments. And the time right now is 6. Let's make sure that I have that correct, 6:19. And we are going to go ahead and go into that closed session, and hopefully we will not be there long.
I'm shut out.
Okay, we're going to come back to order. We're officially out of closed session. The time is 6:50. And there was no action taken in the closed session. So we're now at item number 8, which is discussion vote update on Fraser Park Lake of the Woods Consolidation Planning Project. 8A, discussion vote review of the project timeline. As far as I know, nothing has changed on the timeline. Is that correct, Dee?
Right, nothing's changed, Lisa.
Okay, so we can move on to 8B unless there's any discussion on that. 8B, discussion vote on production well property appraisals and acquisition. So we do need to do a vote here. And that
Lisa?
is, yes,
Hi, sorry, I do have some discussion on 8B.
okay,
Okay, I need to let y'all know that well number 4 in Lake of the Woods is giving us signs of the well failing, no, not able to produce. And so with the warning signs that we're getting, we wanted to let you all know that we may be losing one of our wells, and maybe discuss when we get down to that section on where we are on well number 9 and how soon that can be brought along.
it's all clear now. We were wondering why there were so many questions about the property at 9. So, okay, so that clears that up. But what we need to do right now is we need to entertain a motion for a second appraisal at well 8. And we can talk about well 9 after that. So the first order of business is to talk about well 8 and the well 8 property. There, we believe that the appraisal that was done was too low because we did not understand that it was not just ag property, but that next to the appraisal site is actually a commercial strip. And so we believe that the original appraiser, Valbridge, did not consider that in their appraisal. So we are interested in doing a second opinion appraisal using a second appraiser. That would be Alliance Appraisal. And we need to take a vote on that. We would like to get that appraised as soon as possible so that we can approach the property owners with a different number. Is that correct, Dee? I think you're muted, Dee.
That's correct, Lisa. I put the Alliance Ag proposal on my screen if you want to look at it. If not, I know that you have copies of it there.
Yeah, I believe we have a copy of that in our packet, so we can probably, unless is there anyone on the Zoom that doesn't have the packet in front of them that would like to see the site or anything about the appraisal?
No, got it.
Okay, so so basically, I'm just gonna read this. Dear Mr. Jasper, thank you for affording Alliance Appraisal LLC the opportunity to make a proposal for your valuation service needs. I'm confident that our products will meet and exceed your expectations. And close, please find our agreement for services. If this agreement is acceptable, please sign and return to our office via email. Once we receive the signed agreement from you, we will expedite your request. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. And then there's a number and the owner is Michael Ming from Alliance Appraisal. So if you look at the agreement, it's between the client, us, and our principal engineer, D. Jasper and Associates, the appraiser, Michael Ming from Alliance Appraisal. It's for well site number 8. It's for open land. It's a fee simple interest valued appraisal. And The intended use of this report is to estimate market value and just compensation relative to permanent well site pipeline and access easements, as well as a temporary construction easement. Additionally, the client has requested an alternative value, assuming the well site is required in fee instead of as an easement. So we actually talked about doing it in fee and not that the piping part would be an easement and the access part would be an easement, but not the actual site. So and then, you know, it goes on to talk about some other conditions, etc. So I would just like all the directors to look at that, and then I will entertain a motion. Is there anything else that you need to say about it, Dee, before we entertain a motion?
No, only that Alliance Appraisal has done a tremendous amount of appraisal work for a number of entities in Kern County. I think they've been in business for 75 years. They're an old company and very reliable and very respected appraisal company. And I do have, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, and it ends up being $4,000 for the appraisal plus file travel related costs not to exceed 500. That's on page 3, plus $250 for copies, hard copies. So we're probably talking about $5,000, correct?
Somewhere in that range, yes. 4 to 5.
And the agreement is valid only if signed by both the appraiser, client, and guarantor. I always guaranteer. I always say that wrong. The date specified is 2 business days from January 24th. So that's going to need to be changed because we're already on the 26th. So that we need to have him okay, D. That date is we're not going to be within 2 business days of January 24th.
It's okay. If we sign it, they'll move ahead.
Okay. So and I'm assuming that I would be signing for Fraser Park Public Utility District because our president is not here tonight.
Is it just one signature? Or do we need 2?
I don't know. It says 2. It says by client and by I don't know who the guarant. I always want to say guaranteer, but however you say that, I can't say it.
Guarantor?
Yes.
Let's see.
Who is that, D?
Let's see. I'm
We
looking-
both are, Dee and us.
Yeah. You know, both of us can sign it. You know, it's
So tonight we would sign in both places?
yes, I'm trying to find the place where that signature block is.
It's on page 5.
Page 3, 4, 5.
So there's
by
2 spots
client.
for the appraiser, and then there's a spot for me, which would be clients. But I'm a little because it did say I thought it said engineer. Let me just read it again.
You know, you can sign both places, and I'll sign when I get it back. I'll sign underneath it just to make sure we get enough signatures on all the blocks.
Okay.
I could run it down. I could run it down to you on Monday, D, if that would be good.
Yeah, no problem. That'd be good.
All right.
Yeah, that'll work.
If Tiffany could hang it on my box or remind me, that'd be great.
Okay, so at this time, if both directors are okay with the wording of the agreement and if you are okay, Dee, I will entertain a motion to approve signing and getting this appraisal, signing the proposal and moving forward on the appraisal.
I'm good with it, Lisa.
Do you need
I would
a-
like to make a motion that we approve the proposal from Alliance AG and that we will sign it this evening.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other discussion? Questions? I do have, one question, D, it says report option in compliance with 2022 standards. Has anything changed since we're in 2023 now?
I'll check with Mike to see, and if it has changed, then we'll update it to 2023.
Okay. Okay, so I have a motion on the floor. I'm going to do a roll call of directors. Director Garcia is absent. Director Nyman is absent. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
and I'm Director Schoenberg, and I'm an aye. That motion passes 3-0-0 to absence. Okay, so moving on, so we are going to move forward. I will sign that this evening. And we will get a second appraisal. And so item 8C, discussion vote on the early drilling of well 8. We need to, we really can't do any more discussion right now because we need this appraisal. We need to do further negotiation. And then we'll be able to discuss further on that. So I think unless there's any questions, I'm going to move on from 8C. Okay, 8D, discussion vote update on district sphere of influence map for the annexation is tabled. That does not need to come off the table because that is completed until further questions in regards to the MSR, which is the next item. 8E, discussion vote on project municipal services review, MSR, quote, draft MSR, data collection, scope of work, and LAFCO. Do you want to address that, Dee?
Yes, I'm working on it now, and I've, working through, there's about 4 different reports that I have to do, and I'm on the second report now, and I think the last one will be updating the preliminary cost for the regional project. That'll be the last one that I'll do. So I should be done with the second part by the end of next week, maybe a little earlier. And then I'll move on to, I've got a list of about 8 things that I have to do, most are interrelated. I'm moving ahead on it, working on it every day.
Okay, so are there any additional questions, discussion on that? Otherwise, I'll move on to 8F. 8F, discussion vote on the memorandum of understanding. That is sort of a standing item. We can't really move forward on that. We did a initial MOU and we're waiting for our MSR and other various things. So that will be here, not necessarily tabled, but not necessarily anything to talk about at each time we come to that item. So if there's nothing else on that, I will move on to 8G. Okay, discussion vote on Lake of the Woods projects and consolidation. That's Pam or Joan or anyone else on the Lake of the Woods.
So they need to talk about well form. Very well.
Do you want to discuss well 4 a little bit more, Joan?
Hi. Yep, I'll go first, and then Pam's going to fill you in on some other good information we got. So as I mentioned earlier, we are seeing a problem with well 4 and therefore wanting to know if we've got any thoughts, timelines, whatever, on being able to bring well number 9 on.
So at this point, we had not considered that. We were considering because we would have to break that out separately from the project as well, because on well number 9, at least to get water from Fraser Park to there or get water from there to Lake of the Woods, we would have to construct a Lethe pipeline. So it's highly unlikely that we would have the money for that without a whole bunch of additional discussion. And somehow moving the whole timeline of the project forward, which I don't know, so. I think basically that's best brought up in a state meeting, because this is all new information. I know that currently we don't have the money to fund pipeline from that far away to Lake of the Woods.
No, but maybe the state now will expedite it since both districts are in dire need of water supplies.
Well, yeah, so that's very possible, and I think that we can't really address it too much here, but that would be, and I would suggest that we spell that out and you have any documentation. You may want to get some documentation from your engineer, like what we got for like what D Jasper has done for well number 8. I think you want to have that spelled out as much as possible to be able to give to. We don't have Lawrence right now, but we have Joel, can't remember his
Joel
Greathouse right now. And so I would suggest that we, the engineers for Lake of the Woods, get as much information together as possible on what we would need for that and why we would need it, and what just D, you might want to just spell out what you put in that letter so that Lake of the Woods has that information right now, as far as all the things that Joel was asking for in our letter in regard to well 8.
Yeah, it basically is a description of, your capacities and your demands. And then what happens if you lose that well, what part of your capacity are you losing? And then a declaration that, hey, if we lose well number 4, we're in big trouble. And then, I think the other part of that is then further talks with Joel Greathouse and Lawrence, to see if they agree, then, maybe we need to try to split well number 9 out as well. And
But we can't really split that out, D, because it's great that we drill well number 9, but without the pipeline going between, it's not going to do anyone good. So I think that we would have to expedite the entire, or they'd have to phase the project somehow so that it could include both the pipeline between. I mean, we could certainly phase the project, but as far as you would need design for the pipeline, you would need the well, and you would need so we would need possibly a booster and a tank. So I think it's possible, but we need to really spell that out, and they would have to somehow work with us to either break out the project or expedite the entire project.
that's right. And
there's no way to expedite it easily without design, and we don't have design right now.
well, it just depends on what the effect is of losing it. The other part of that is CEQA, and that does take some time as well. But there may be some ways, depending on how much of an emergency it is, Joan, there may be some ways. There's some new policies coming up that they haven't been fully developed yet, but they think by March they're going to have some policies where we can make applications without the CEQA if we do have an emergency type situation. So I've been doing a little research on that. So, nothing's impossible. We just have to figure out what is possible.
And I would say if we need to move forward and we cannot pay for the property under where our current project, we would already have to have the construction agreement unless they have some special thing for that under an emergency. That maybe we also need to do some negotiation with Lake of the Woods for us, like splitting the cost or something like that, so that we're both paying into acquiring the property more rapidly.
Sure. Yeah, there's something I think we can work out. Depending on, how much of, when you lose well 4, how much of your capacity, you lose, Joan, and then when you look at your demands through the summer, if indeed, without well 4, you can't meet demands, then that's a different type of situation. You're already conserving a lot of, as much water as you can.
If a well fails, does trucking water come into effect at all? Does it work? Does it help?
It does.
And the problem with that is we learned it's very hard to do that. I mean, we definitely did it, but I'm sure the state
Yeah.
doesn't want to have to keep on paying that money.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll speed this up.
Extraordinarily expensive.
No, well, it's hard to find someone else that has water to sell to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
True, because some of the people sold to us because it wasn't the summer months.
Right.
When they need it. Well, maybe the
So-
state having all this pointed out to them, and that there's a dire need in both of the towns that they're wanting to consolidate. Maybe they will speed this whole project up.
So Joan, Pam and all, I would highly recommend that you get as much information as you possibly can from your engineer. So that we have all our ducks in a row, so to speak, and that we have all that information. We can talk a little bit more about it at the next regular meeting, the beginning of February, whatever date that is, February 12th. Or no, that's January. Anyway, February, whatever it is. And then I would highly recommend that we bring it up at the state meeting.
Recommend inviting Mark to the next state meeting. Since he does deal with the urgent drinking water needs. Maybe there's something out there that he can do on his end.
Who are you saying?
Mark McToto?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Okay, well, we need to see if we can invite him, make sure that he's going to be at that next meeting. And so the meeting dates to speak of this are the 9th is our next regular meeting, and the 16th is our state meeting. And then the 23rd, of course, is our is the state planning meeting. So I think that we need to have as much information and as many people present for those meetings as we can get. And then we need to try to let them know how dire the situation is. Pam, did you want to add?
Okay, so I get to say the good news, which is we just got approval for 2 permanent generators to be installed, and they're going to include that in our 3.5 million on top of it, I should say. And so we are now able to roll forward with getting all the specs and information for that. So
Good luck.
Excellent. Yeah, it just takes a while to get them, but great. Okay, and anything else on 8G? So hopefully
guys.
those-
the only other thing is that Lawrence emailed tonight that he thought that DFA would be able to let us know if the approval for FBA should be in February to move forward with the 3.5.
Okay. I'm gonna recommend that we add an item under 8 that specifically deals with well 9 and the issues with well 9 in regard to Lake of the Woods water. So somehow it needs to say well 9, and it's not just the early drilling and acquisition of the well 9 property, but it's also pipeline and potentially a booster and a tank. That changes everything. Okay, any other discussion on that? If not, I'll move on to 8H. Okay, 8H is discussion vote on claim number 26 and other claims and payouts. We do not have that information yet, correct, Carlos?
No, it's right here.
Oh, we do have that information. I'm wrong.
Yeah, so basically, claim 26, we had director's charges in the amount of 583.32. We had a invoice from Young and Woolridge, invoice number 96948 in the amount of 678.50. We had staff costs as $88.13. And then we had an invoice from D. Jasper and Associates, invoice number 22-01215. And that invoice was broken up into 3 different charges. First charge on that is a consolidation MSR, so engineer MSR work in the amount of $1,836. Test well admin, same invoice 22-01215 in the amount of $612. Same invoice for test well drilling, which is invoice number 22-01215 in the amount of $1,856.65. And then we included invoice from Valbridge from the month of October. And that was on invoice number 22-01018 in the amount of $5,000.16, bringing the grand total of the invoice to $10,654.76.
Okay, so I know we did look at the Director Nyman and I did look at this at the state update meeting. I don't recall that we had any issues with it. I would like the 2 directors that are present this evening, besides myself, to look that over, and I would entertain a motion, and in the motion, you need to read the various you need to include the various invoices that the way that Director Nyman normally does.
We can't just go off of what Oscar said.
Yeah, he doesn't always listen.
You can go off of what not Oscar, that was Carlos, what Carlos said.
As said.
So, but I can't make that motion, so I would entertain a motion.
I will make the motion that we approve claim 6.
26.
26, claim 26. With the invoices that was previously stated by Carlos in the amount of $10,654.76.
Do I have a second for that motion?
I second it. That was smooth.
Okay, any other discussion or questions? Okay, roll call directors. Director Garcia, absent. Director Nyman, absent. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
And Director Schoenberg is an aye. That is 3-0-0-2 absent, and that motion passes. So you are good to go on claim 26, Carlos.
Alrighty.
Okay. Moving on to item 9, discussion vote update on FPPUD meter replacement projects and emergency well supply project. 9A, discussion vote update on well number 7. I don't know, there was some more additional information that you brought up at the state meeting, I think, Dee, that you did not. Well, I mean, you pretty much brought it up at the regular meeting as well this month, but is there anything else you wanted to add? I know some other stuff transpired with well 7.
Oh, you're muted again. Dee?
There
There
we
you
go. Yep. And nothing new. We're waiting for the water quality test results. And we expect that we should have that information in maybe next week, as the labs are really, really slow for some reason, but we're just waiting for that. And then once we have that, we can make a decision as to, or a recommendation as to what to do with well 7.
Okay, are there any other questions, discussion?
We're not getting any higher productive from out?
Say again, was that a question for me?
Yeah, it was a question for you, as Director Kelly. She said there's been no additional production amounts out of that well, right? It's pretty low on the water flow.
That's right. Yeah, it's very, very low.
And right now, we can't determine if we even want to get just a smaller pump because we need the test, the water quality test completed.
That's right.
Okay, anything else on 9A? Okay, 9B, discussion vote update on the meter replacement.
We just received the contract documents from Bruff yesterday. And Curtis is gonna bring those up to Johnny early in the week for signature, and then we can issue the notice to proceed. So I can purchase the meters, start getting equipment ordered.
And we're thinking those meters are going to take a while to come in, correct? Quite a while.
Well, yeah, I don't remember the timing, but it will take some time. I think the boxes are probably going to be, an issue as well. But yeah, we need to get them ordered as soon as possible.
Okay, and are those going to get delivered to Bruff, or are they? How is that going to work?
Well, the contractor orders them and he's responsible for them. We can designate, or he can designate a place. We don't pay for them until we can inventory them. So, if he puts them in his warehouse, then we have to go there and check to make sure that indeed what we're paying for is there. And of course, it's marked for us. Or we can store it at the district, but again, that would depend on how much room we have for that, and probably not going to have enough room with everything else that's going on. So when they get delivered, then we inventory them and then recommend that payment be made for that material.
Now, when that contract comes up here, who's going to sign it? You said that Curtis is going to bring it to me, but Lisa, what's your take on that? Is it
I think,
just one of them?
Yeah,
Just I sign it?
President.
I don't think that would probably, well, I don't know. I think that's
I think
we have a little bit of time to discuss that at the next meeting. I think the board needs to decide that.
it's the
I thought
president.
we already signed the contract with Bruff.
No, this is not the contract with Bruff. This is the meter. This is, oh, you're talking about the one that they're gonna bring up now, or you're talking about
Yes,
the computer?
yes. The
Oh, yeah.
one need,
That's just additional paperwork that they needed to. You just need to make sure that they have the bond and everything that they need, correct?
Yeah, and that's what we've been doing, is checking all of that information. So as soon as we make sure that all of that is in accordance with the contract specifications, then we'll recommend that it be signed. And I think the president of the board probably, or designee, and the president can designate Johnny to sign it. It just depends on what you want to do.
I can run it to Becky to sign.
Yeah.
On Monday? Because you're gonna go down Monday, right?
Yeah, but that's for, yeah.
Yeah, we may
That's
not
not
have it,
this-
we may not be ready on Monday for that.
Yeah,
But,
separate.
early in the week between, Monday and Thursday, we'll get all our work done.
Yeah, because Johnny was just gonna take down that other to you, so.
I'll
Okay,
coordinate it with Dee.
okay.
Okay, is the, we can't even really get a full decision of the board because again, Becky's one of the people that would be signing it, so. I don't know.
Yeah,
I-
it probably needs to come back up, unfortunately.
This is just information right now,
Yeah,
that we do
Okay.
have the documents.
Okay.
okay, so, I mean, I guess if it's, needs to be signed before the next board meeting where we would have any kind of approval. Can we just give a vote of confidence to have that signed by our board president, or should we wait?
The,
I think,
the,
go ahead.
the normal way to do it is, you know, you would, the board doesn't need to take official, a vote,
Action.
you know, action, just, you know, we've already gone through specifications, we've already approved that, the board has approved it, we've approved everything up to this point. Now it's really to the engineers to look at it and make sure that what's been submitted is in accordance with the specifications. And then we can recommend to you that you go ahead, that your designee sign it, that it does meet, you know, the specifications, all the documents, bonding, insurance, and all the rest.
Okay, so if we need that signed ahead of time, are you okay with that, Director Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm okay with that as well, so I think that, if we have that before the next meeting, that, we're okay with Director Gibson signing that at your approval, at your,
Discretion?
just, yeah.
Great.
With, if you feel that everything is in order, Dee, then, she would have approval of us to sign that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, so, anything else on 9B? Discussion about update on meter replacement, sorry, I. Turn this down. Okay, so 9C, discussion vote on the bridge loan for meter replacement. I know that we already signed that. It's just a matter of whether we need to take out any money at this time. So I think, unless there's a specific amount that I know that we're waiting and that's gonna come up on another agenda item as far as the, money coming in for the trucking, for the water trucking, for that emergency grant. So I think at this point, unless Dee, you know that we need specifically to pay money for something out of pocket, I believe that we're probably okay at the moment.
We are okay, for now, and then, I'm pretty sure all the way up to the meeting in February.
I just. So I understand, if we gotta pay something through the bridge loan, do we send that to them and then they pay? And then we have, we don't have a card.
There's
Same.
a-
How does that process work, Oscar? How are we?
there's a thing that needs to be out and signed by your designee. And once that is filled out, it'll say, like, you'll give a bank account and routing number, and then the funds will be directly deposited to that bank account and routing number.
Do we have to open a new account?
We probably should. So, okay, so we're probably going to open an account for the bridge loan. That seems like a smart thing to do anyway, because it would be much easier to track than for us to do it out of the operating revenue.
And if I'm not this is Carlos. If I'm not mistaken, Lisa, I think there's a form that needs to be filled out, which is a draw request form. whenever you're gonna make your first draw.
And did we decide, Oscar, that that was only tied to the meter well project, or was that? Are we able to use that for other items, or is it specific only to the well and meter project?
In order for it to be applied to anything else, there would need to be a funding agreement in place, and it would need to get the okay from She Management and the state. Because you're talking about the haul to water cost, correct?
Yeah, but I don't think we're gonna need that. I think we're gonna get that money. So, that's what I'm talking about right now. I'm just wondering if we have to move forward on this. Well, if we have to move forward on other things, we may be running out of money. Like, we're gonna have to come out of pocket on some stuff soon, I think. So, so I'm just trying to determine if we want to open a separate account or if we want it as part of the well meter. We already have an account for the well meter project. I just don't know if we should tie it to that account or we should open a separate account to try to just keep it very, very clear whatever that money might be used for. Even though right now it's only theoretically for the well and meter project.
Yeah. So that would be completely up to you guys, whatever would be easier for you.
Because we already have the checks for the meter well. So if it's deposited into the meter well and we cut it out of the meter well.
Somehow you'd have to know that it's not, that it's
I
the
think
bridge
it's
loan money
trackable
versus
better.
the.
Yeah, that's
Meter
why
well.
my fear is that it gets mixed
Mixed
up
up.
with the meter well stuff coming in from the state. And in order to track it, it might be better to have a separate account.
I agree.
I agree too. I mean,
So-
it's opening a new account, but.
So I think we'll work on that. I think we may want to open a new account just to be able to absolutely track that money in and out, because we're gonna be having money coming in directly to the well meter from the state, and every time we get a state amount, we have a certain amount of time to turn around the bridge loan. So yeah, I think that might be better to keep them separate. Okay, so we'll work on that. And anything else on 9C? Okay, 9D, discussion vote on claim number 11 and other claims and payouts. Oscar, do you want to go over claim 11?
Well, for claim 11, we have two invoices. They're both from D. One is for the well 7 project correspondence. And that is invoice number 22-01218. And that's in the amount of $2,455. And then there's another invoice from D, and that's for the meters, and that's invoice number 22-01219. And that's in the amount of $343.96, which brings the total amount for invoice 11 to $2,798.96.
Okay, are there any questions or discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve claim 11.
I'll make a motion to approve claim 11 with the invoices stated by Oscar in the amount of $2,798.96.
Do
I
have
second
a
it.
second? Okay, any other discussion, questions? Okay, roll call of directors. Director Garcia is absent. Director Nyman is absent. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelling.
Aye.
And Director Schoenberg is an aye. That motion passes 3 ayes, 0, and 2 absent. Okay. Moving on, item 10, discussion vote on pipeline replacement project. 10A, discussion vote on potholing and mapping.
we're pretty much done now. I've got a stack of drawings on my desk that Matt gave me this evening, and I'm going to get those up to you, Johnny. You can take a look at them and see if there's anything else that we need to do with respect to that. There are a couple of areas that we'll probably get Lyles out on, you know, for a day or maybe 2 days, and that's it. And we will have that completed. And so that's, I'll get those up to you. In fact, when you come down next week, then we can exchange those as well.
Sounds good, Dee. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions on that discussion? Okay, 10B, discussion vote on the project budget. We're not there yet as we're still doing the final drawings and discussing all that and whatever additional that you just talked about. So we're not ready for B yet. We're not ready for C yet, which is the project plans and specs. And we're not ready for D yet, as we have the initial application in, but we can't do the final application until we have all the design finished. So we'll be leaving those on the agenda, but we're not able to move forward on any of those items currently.
Actually, Lisa, we are doing some design now, starting some design for the summit area. So we're starting to launch into that phase of it.
Right, but we're not ready for the project plans and specs or actual application.
Correct.
So that's great. We and the design is still, sorry, I'm standing, my legs are cramping up really, my back's really bad right now. So yeah, we're just not, I mean, we're at that point, but that's still covered by self-help in the TA funds. So right now, we're not moving forward with the other parts of the project, the actual application.
Correct.
Okay, so is there any other discussion, any other questions? Okay, I'll move on to item 11, discussion vote on the urgent drinking water needs funding.
And this is where I will say goodnight, and I will see you guys at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
Good night, Carla.
Good night, bye.
Good night.
So for the urgent drinking water needs funding, we received an email from Mark on Monday stating that the deputy director has approved the $195,522 to cover for water hauling expenses. And they're working on getting an agreement in place for those expenses to be reimbursed as soon as possible.
that's good news.
He's gonna keep us posted on any next steps to be done.
Great, one more thing we won't need the bridge loan for,
Amen.
so that's good. I may need to just walk a little bit, so I'm gonna entertain just briefly, and I think that's the end of what we need from you, Oscar. I'm just gonna ask for like 2 minutes to walk out this, my legs are cramping, and it's really hard for me to concentrate right now.
I will make a motion that we take a 5-minute break.
Do I have a second on that motion?
I second it.
Okay, so any discussion? If not, roll call of directors. Director Garcia is absent, Director Nyman absent, Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg is an aye, so we're going to take just a brief break, maximum 5 minutes at 7:39. We will be back. Thank you.
Oh.
So I let Fraser Park know tonight that, that we're having preliminary signs.
Hey, Joan, you're not muted.
Oops, sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna bring the meeting back to order. The time is 7:44. We are on item number 12. Discussion vote update on OES Community Power Resiliency Allocation of Special Districts Grants, 12A. Discussion vote update on purchasing of the generators. Do you wanna, or Johnny? I don't know if we got any more down, where they're being stored.
We should have received 2 more of the generators. I think for a total of 3 so far. And then 2 more are, should be delivered in the next couple of weeks. Is that your understanding, Johnny?
Well, Greg from PTS, he called me a week ago, said what was the absolute deadline to get stuff in, and he said he was going to tell the factory everything had to be there by February 1st. So, but I seen Curtis sent email earlier, and I don't believe that we got a response. No. Let me see. I'll check real fast. Nope. Curtis's email was, did the last 2 generators arrive? Or the last 2 generators arrived this week as outlined below. So I'll reach out on Monday and find out what's going on with that.
Okay, sounds good, Johnny. Yeah. we're
He
good.
said they did arrive?
No, he was asking if they arrived.
Oh,
Curtis
have
was
they
asking,
arrived?
and we
Okay.
did not get a response.
Okay. Okay, so we just need to stay on top of that. Any other discussion or questions in regard to that? Okay, 12B, we're not moving forward on right now because the engineering and design is not gonna happen until we have all the generators in hand and we can discuss where what's happening with each of them. So that is not tabled, it's still gonna stay on the agenda, but it's we're not able to move forward really on it tonight. Item 13, discussion about update on the district water tank replacement, D.
We had a pre-bid job walk this week. We just had 1 contractor show up for that, and that was Unified. We'll have another one next week, and the bids are due on February 9th.
Okay, thank you. Is there any additional discussion on that? Okay, so we'll be waiting to see if we get anyone else bidding on or doing the job walk so that they can do a bid. Item 14, discussion vote on possible redistricting by Kern County. To my knowledge, we have no additional information on that. Still have no clue what's going on, if anything, with that. So I'm not sure how we're gonna move forward, but I guess we'll keep it on there just to keep reminding ourselves that we need to try to move forward.
Did you ever
Make
talk
sure.
to the paper about that?
So we do need to talk to the paper probably at some point and see what they, what if anything they understand about what happened.
I have a
This is-
question about that. Why, I probably just don't understand, but why is it a a water company concern as opposed to just, we all kind of wonder why you have to vote somewhere else. How does it
Because
affect the
if
water
they
company?
use the census to determine different districts, then that could potentially subdivide our district. Or change something about our, I mean, there's just some potential ramifications. I don't know if there really are any ramifications, but we don't know how they came to a determination that part of the district is associated with Lebec and part of the district is associated with Fraser Park. If part of our district is associated with Lebec, and that changes some things. So I do think it could potentially be a huge problem or nothing, but we don't know why they even did that. Half of the town was sent to Lebec and half of Lebec was sent to, I don't even know how they divided it. It was some bizarre, like a south side, north side kind of thing. So it's
Yeah,
definitely.
and it wasn't even that, because my in-laws, I think they still voted at the library and they live right down the street from me. So it's really weird how they did it.
From you or from me?
From you on Willow, Robert and Joni, I think they voted at the
Oh.
library.
I don't know. So that's why we need to figure out whether that was just a grand mistake or what's going on.
Lisa, this is Joan. I can give you some information. I did some research on this.
Okay,
The explanation that was given to me is that there has been no actual redistricting, but because of the new technology and the voting booths of using Wi-Fi, they redistributed where they wanted voters to go to vote. But the redistricting itself, there has been absolutely no redistricting by the county.
That made absolutely no sense to me. Wi-Fi at the library, Wi-Fi at the high school, what difference would it have made?
It was the ability for these new kind of voting booths to be able to process all of that Wi-Fi and how they would make it happen. For example, Cuddy Hall is a voting location, and in the past they've never used Wi-Fi and did it for the first time this year. So this new technology required them to have some better infrastructure on their part. So that's why they relocated where they had people going for voting. But the important part was that I confirmed that there was no redistricting done.
and who did you confirm that with?
Zach Scrivener's office.
Okay.
Just an FYI.
Okay, so I mean, if that's true, I don't know if we need to leave that on. I mean, he
would know.
He should know. So I guess why don't we table that item for now unless something comes up?
Sounds good.
Okay, do we want to, I guess we don't need to vote to table it, we'll just table it from the agenda. Okay, we took the recess already, we're on new business. Item 15, discussion vote on contract with T-Mobile to replace their existing generator. Did you look
Okay.
through that?
Yeah, I looked to it too, and it's the same as each of the other upgrades they've done. I looked at the plans. Really, they're just replacing a generator, and they want to give us an extra $300 a month to allow them to do it.
Okay, do we have any issues with anything that anyone read, or are we okay moving to allow T-Mobile to update their generator and pay us? Are they gonna issue us another contract, or are they just?
Typically, they just start paying more money, and the contract is what you're actually signing. That'll say how much it's going to be, and then when they do renew a contract, it'll just be all included on that new price.
Okay, and they specifically talked to you about changing the amount? And
Yeah,
Is
Yeah,
it
they
a
reached
big-
out, they reached out to me and asked me if we would be okay with them installing a generator. I said, you guys realize that you already have one there, right? Oh, well, we have to get back to you. They got back to me. Oh yeah, it's just, we're replacing the one that's there. All right.
And is it a bigger footprint? Is there anything different?
I think it's a little bit bigger footprint, but not by much, but we use absolutely nothing on that south end of that where the water tank is now. We don't use the water tank. We don't do anything back there.
Do they draw electricity from us? Is that why they're
No,
gonna-
they're gonna pay us because we own the tower. We own the
We
tank that
lease.
they have all their tower
Yeah, I
stuff
know,
on.
but
We,
I don't see anything monetarily in any of
because
the.
because everything that a cell tower does has got a preset amount that they pay for the use of and the changing of the environment at that site. Everything.
Well,
If they add
yeah,
an
the
antenna,
one in the
they have
park.
yeah, but it don't cost us nothing, and it just pays us more money. They have their own electric meter up there. They have their own everything. It doesn't do anything except for benefit the town and pay us more money.
Yeah, it doesn't specifically say that, but it does say that in our contracts that they have to get our approval. So, I mean, whether or not they're paying us more, it would be great to get an additional amount, but if it's not, I will entertain a motion if it's not going to actually change anything with us other than the footprint be a little bit bigger. I would need to entertain a motion to sign this this contract with, or this acknowledgement accepted and agreed upon statement. It's not really the contract, it's a consent,
Yeah.
landlord consent.
I will move that we sign the T-Mobile landlord consent letter. So T-Mobile can upgrade their generator.
Do I have a
I
second
second the
on that?
motion.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? Okay, roll call directors, Director Garcia is absent, Director Nyman is absent, Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Hi.
And Director Schoenberg is an aye, and that is 3-0-0 with 2 absent. And then are we okay with Johnny signing this? Or do we want Director Gibson to sign this?
Just historically speaking, you guys had me sign the one for the added antenna and as well as the microwave antenna.
Then
But
I would take a just a consensus that we're okay with Johnny signing this. And giving them his contact name and number and contact email.
I'm okay with that.
I'm
Director
okay with that.
Gibson? Okay, I'm okay with that. So Johnny, you have our consent to sign that. Landlord agreement. You're
All right.
directed by us to do that. And so moving on, item 16. Review and approve meeting minutes for 1/19/2023 state update meeting.
I will make a motion that we approve the minutes for the state update meeting on January 19th of 2023. With any of the amendments that were sent to Tiffany previous to the or after the meeting, as well as any additional amendments or typos or other errors that may not have been caught or may need to be corrected.
I second it.
Okay, any discussion on that? Okay, roll call directors. Director Garcia is absent. Director Nyman is absent. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
And Director Schoenberg is an aye. That's 3-0-0-2 absent. That motion passes. We have approved the minutes for the 1/19/2023 state update meeting. Item 17, is there any discussion or vote on future agenda items that we need for our next agenda?
The 700 forms will be on the next agenda, and I'll have them with the old copies and the new forms to fill out.
Okay, did you hear that, Director Gibson? 700 forms, next agenda?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Okay, 700 forms, next agenda. Tiffany will have the old forms that we can look at. If you have any property interests or other interests that you may need to disclose, you should bring that with you so that you can fill those out and sign them at the next meeting.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Okay, any other discussion, questions on that?
Oh, I can bug you now. Do your sexual harassment and ethics training.
And do we have did you send us the link to that?
There's no link. You have to get with me and I can walk you through where to go and how to take it when you're ready.
Oh,
I guess we'll all be sitting at home, calling Tiffany, and she's got a directors on how to go.
Yeah,
okay.
and I'll walk you through where to go.
Can you place it on the next agenda to make sure that we all have done it or that we remember to contact you just as a reminder?
I can even place it on the next agenda and walk you through it at that point. if
That
nobody
sounds
says-
wonderful. That sounds very good. Are the directors in agreement with that?
Yes,
Okay, any other discussion, vote on that or any other future agenda items?
nope.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, roll call of directors. Director Garcia is absent. Director Nyman is absent. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
and Director Schumer's an aye. That is a vote of 3-0-0, 2 absent. We are adjourning this meeting this evening at 8 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations, ladies.
Thanks
Have a good
for
night.
attending, and
Have a good night.
everybody.
And Becky, I will be coming by to have you sign this check if I can handle walking up to your door. I don't know, we'll see. I'm in pain too. But I will be bringing this check to you and then mailing it.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Have a great weekend, Dee.
No, I'm just getting frustrated.